The cold silence of space stretched across the border of human territory. For weeks, long-range sensors had been tracking something unusual, movements near the edge of the Sol system. At first, it looked like a routine patrol, but the number of ships kept growing. 5, 20, 50. Soon, there were hundreds. The aliens claimed it was just a training exercise. Their message to the Galactic Council was calm, polite, and full of lies. Human intelligence officers didn't buy it. In the deep underground command center beneath Geneva, glowing maps displayed clusters of red dots, each one an alien warship. Training exercise? One officer muttered. That looks like an invasion, but no orders came from Earth Command. Humanity was watching, waiting, hoping the situation would not turn deadly. Out near the edge of the Sol system, a lonely human outpost named Epsilon Gate floated silently. It was a small station, mostly for mining and signal relays. Commander Leah Grant stood by the viewport, staring at distant lights. Still no word from Central? Her second officer asked. Leah shook her head. No, they're saying the aliens are just conducting drills. But I've never seen drills this close before. The radar officer suddenly looked up from his console. Ma'am, I'm picking up something strange. What kind of strange? Energy spikes. Several ships charging weapons. Leah's blood ran cold. Send a warning to Fleet Command now. But before the message could even reach Earth, space lit up. A massive plasma beam, white-hot and blinding, tore through the darkness. It struck Epsilon Gate directly. The station didn't even have time to raise shields. In seconds it was gone, vaporized in a burst of blue fire. Thousands of human lives ended in silence. The explosion was seen from millions of kilometers away. Human patrol ships detected the shockwave. The images reached Earth minutes later, an outpost reduced to dust. In the Galactic Council chambers, alien delegates whispered among themselves. Some pretended to be shocked. Others smiled quietly. They provoked us, one alien general said. They were in restricted space, another lied. But everyone knew the truth. The fleet had fired first. On Earth, the atmosphere changed instantly. News of the attack spread across every city, every colony, every moon base. The people demanded answers. The politicians hesitated. But the military already knew what to do. Deep in Earth's orbit, hidden inside a classified station called Black Horizon, alarms blared. Red lights flashed through long steel corridors. Soldiers and engineers ran to their posts. Inside a command chamber, Admiral Ryland stood before a holographic map of the solar system. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with fury. They destroyed a human outpost, a colonel reported. We have confirmation, no survivors. For a long moment, Ryland said nothing. Then slowly, he turned to the communications officer. Patch me through to Earth Command. The officer nodded, fingers shaking slightly. The entire room fell silent. Static filled the speakers for a moment, then cleared. Admiral Ryland, this is Earth Command. Situation report? Ryland's voice was cold and steady. Hostile contact confirmed. Human lives lost. No response from the fleet after our warnings. Understood, the voice replied. You have authorization to initiate defense protocol if necessary. Ryland exhaled. He knew what that meant. There would be no peace talks this time. Far above Earth, in the darkness of orbit, a massive object slowly rotated, its black hull hidden from all known scanners. It had been sleeping for decades, powered down, waiting for this exact moment. Its name was Project Starhammer. Inside its silent chambers, dormant systems began to flicker to life. Engines hummed. Weapon cores charged. Shield grids awakened with a deep mechanical growl. The stars reflected off its armor like mirrors of fire. One by one, encrypted satellites across the solar system activated, linking into a network. Every signal pointed to a single destination: the alien fleet crossing the border. On the moon, engineers received the transmission. On Mars, hidden defense stations came online. On Earth, civilians watched the skies, not knowing what was coming. The time for patience had ended. Admiral Ryland looked at his officers, his voice cutting through the silence. Prepare the reply. The communications officer hesitated. Sir, the Council will— Forget the Council, Ryland said sharply. They watched and did nothing. Now humanity answers. He stepped closer to the main console, placed his hand on the command key, and spoke the words no human had heard in over a century. Transmission code, Alpha 17. Execute. A pause. Then the system responded in a cold mechanical voice. Operation Starhammer, activate. In the depths of space, something vast moved. A soundless vibration rippled across the void as humanity's secret weapon began to rise from the shadow of Jupiter. The aliens had fired first. But now, it was humanity's turn. And the stars were about to shake. The attack on Epsilon Gate echoed through every human world. News feeds replayed the same burning image, an outpost turning to light then vanishing into dust. Billions watched in silence. There were no words that could cover what had happened. Only anger, only resolve. But while the galaxy waited for humans to cry or plead for peace, Earth stayed quiet. Very quiet, because humanity was not done thinking. It was preparing. In the darkness of space, thousands of satellites began to shift their orbits. Civilian traffic was rerouted. Communications were locked under new encryption codes. And across the inner planets, an ancient plan began to move again. Earth Defense Protocol Omega. It was the plan built after the First Galactic War, a plan no one thought would ever be used again. Until now, on the moon inside the buried city of Luna Prime, sirens started to howl. Miners and engineers stopped what they were doing as heavy blast doors sealed across entire districts. The walls shook as massive generators came online for the first time in a century. Deep underground, Commander Ray Walker looked at the screen showing rising power levels. She turned to her officers. Bring the particle forges online, and get me a live feed to Earth Command. An officer hesitated. Commander, are we really doing this? The fleet out there, they outnumber us 10-1. Ray stared at the hollow map of Sol system. They think numbers will save them, but they don't understand us. At the same time, in the red deserts of Mars, the hidden base Ares station opened its hangars. Dust storms swirled around the massive metal doors as they split open, revealing long rows of sleek black ships buried beneath the planet's surface. Engines roared to life, shaking the ground for kilometers. A swarm of drones rose into the thin Martian air, forming geometric patterns across the sky. They weren't built for defense, they were eyes scanning, tracking, ready to relay enemy movements across the system. Meanwhile, far beyond the asteroid belt, the shadows near Jupiter shifted again. From the dark clouds of its orbit, Project Starhammer continued to wake. It was enormous, longer than any alien dreadnought, wrapped in layers of black armor designed to absorb and bend light. Every line of its hull hummed with silent power. It had one purpose, to make sure no one ever forgot what humanity was capable of. Inside, lights flickered on as crew members took their stations. Robotic arms attached reactor cores, check systems, and loaded ammunition too large for any other ship to carry. The captain, Ilara Voss, stood before the central viewport, watching Jupiter's storms twist below. She had served her entire life waiting for this moment. Status report, she said calmly. Main reactors at 90%. Her engineer replied. Weapon systems. Online, Ilara nodded. Send this message to Earth Command. Starhammer is awake. Back on Earth, the global command network hummed with encrypted chatter. Every nation, every colony, every fleet officer, all connected under one command for the first time in decades. Admiral Ryland stood in the war room surrounded by glowing maps of the solar system. Blue dots marked human ships. Red dots marked alien ones. The red dots were spreading. They're pushing deeper into the border zone, said an officer. They've taken control of 3 outposts. No survivors. Ryland's jaw tightened. And the council? They're discussing sanctions, the officer said bitterly. Sanctions. Ryland's voice turned cold. They fire on us and the council debates paperwork. The admiral turned to his fleet commanders. Fine, let them talk. We'll act. On the orbital shipyard circling Earth, crews worked non-stop. Cargo drones moved at impossible speed, carrying armor plates and reactor cells. The sound of construction filled every bay. The old warships, museums of past conflicts, were stripped of rust and fitted with new cores. Civilian freighters were modified with armor and cannons. Even mining ships were armed with railgun batteries. It wasn't chaos. It was unity, a kind of unity the galaxy hadn't seen in centuries. Every human world knew what was coming, and none of them hesitated. In the alien sector, the fleet celebrated. Their commanders thought the humans were afraid. They intercepted only silence, no threats, no military transmissions, nothing but quiet radio traffic. The Terrans are frozen, laughed one alien captain. They're probably debating what to say in their council. Another smirked. Then we'll finish it before they can speak. None of them noticed that every time they scanned human space, their systems glitched. Readings went missing. Signals bounced back wrong. Something or someone was inside their systems. Watching. In the dark beyond Saturn's rings, human stealth ships listened to every alien transmission. Hidden by black matter cloaks, they watched and recorded everything. Commander Kai Morales stood aboard the S. The Galactic Council chamber glowed with blue light. Dozens of alien species sat in circular rows, their eyes fixed on the massive hologram in the center of the room. It showed a map of the Sol system, Earth's home, and the latest fleet movements. Hundreds of red dots marked alien warships pressing closer to human space. No blue dots moved. The humans were silent. That silence made everyone uneasy. The council speaker, a tall crystalline being named Varen, struck the floor with his staff. The Terrans remain quiet, he said. They have made no diplomatic contact, no statement, no fleet movements. We can still negotiate, a deep-scaled voice interrupted. It came from General Zorak, commander of the attacking fleet. Negotiate? We already crushed their border outpost. They have no army. They have no allies. They will surrender soon enough. Laughter echoed across the chamber, but one delegate, a small insectoid ambassador named Jali of the Threx, didn't laugh. She watched the hologram carefully, her antenna twitching. Are you sure they're doing nothing? She asked. My sensors show anomalies. Strange energy spikes near Jupiter. Zorak bared his teeth. Background radiation. The humans fill their space with junk tech. Varen raised a hand. Regardless, General, the Council did not authorize your attack. You violated protocol, the alien general sneered. Protocol is weakness. The humans are primitive. If we destroy them now, the others will respect our power. The council chamber filled with shouting. Some supported the attack. Others demanded punishment. But through it all, Jolly whispered one sentence that silenced everyone near her. I don't think the humans are weak. Meanwhile, far away from the council's noise, Project Starhammer drifted above Jupiter. Its black hull was invisible against the deep void. Inside, Captain Alara Voss stood before a glowing tactical display. The council is still debating, her second officer reported. Half of them want to punish the attackers. The other half are too afraid to interfere. Ilara's eyes stayed on the map. And the fleet? They're spreading out, Captain. They think they're safe, Ilara smiled faintly. Then it's time to remind them what safe means. On Earth, Admiral Ryland received encrypted data from Starhammer. The alien fleet's exact positions, power levels, formation weaknesses, all gathered silently by human stealth ships across the system. He turned to his officers. They believe we're hiding. They think silence means fear. He leaned forward. Let's give them an answer they'll never forget. With a calm voice, he gave the command. Authorization code, Ares Black, arm the railgun. Every console around him lit up in red. Deep beneath the surface of Starhammer, giant mechanical chambers began to open. The magnetic acceleration core came online, a weapon that could fire a solid projectile at nearly light speed. Its recoil could move moons. It had never been tested in real combat. Until now, out in deep space, the alien fleet cruised confidently through human territory. Their lead ship, the Varkun's Pride, detected something, barely a ripple in space. Minor fluctuation detected, reported a crew member. Probably debris, said the captain. Ignore it. Then the sensors screamed. The entire front of the alien ship turned white as energy readings spiked off the charts. Before the captain could shout, a blinding streak of light shot across the void, faster than anything their systems could register. It hit. For a fraction of a second, nothing happened. Then the Varkun's Pride vanished. No explosion, no wreckage. Just silence. Every ship in the fleet froze. Command ship destroyed. Someone shouted over the comms. How? What weapon was that? Panic spread. Sensors failed. Communication channels broke under strange interference. One by one, the alien captains realized something terrifying. Their scanners could no longer see what fired. In the council chamber, chaos erupted as reports flooded in. Contact lost with the main fleet. Flagship gone. Unknown weapon. Massive energy discharge detected near Jupiter. Varen slammed his staff on the floor. What happened? Who attacked them? Jolly's voice trembled. It was the humans. How could they? She turned the display to full zoom. A single image appeared blurry but unmistakable. A massive black shape moving through Jupiter's orbit. No markings. No signals. Just shadows and light. The council fell silent. One delegate whispered, "What? What is that?" Jolly stared at the shape. It's not a fleet. It's a weapon. Back aboard Starhammer, Alara stood in silence, watching the burning data trails fade from her tactical map. The railgun's barrel still glowed orange. "Target destroyed," said her weapons officer quietly. "Good," Alara replied. "Prepare for round 2. The ship trembled as the reload sequence began. Giant mechanical arms slid another projectile, a cylinder of compressed tungsten, into the acceleration chamber. Ilara's second officer turned. "Captain, the fleet's scattering." "Should we pursue?" She shook her head. "No, let them run. They'll tell the others what they saw." At the same time, Admiral Ryland's voice echoed across the command center on Earth. "All fleets, hold positions. Starhammer has delivered the first response. Now we wait." He looked at the massive Galactic transmission feed. He knew the Council was listening. "Transmit this message to all frequencies." His voice went out across the stars, translated into dozens of alien tongues. "To those who attacked us, you fired first. That was your choice. Humanity's reply has just begun." Across alien space, panic spread like wildfire. Every station, every ship, every planet began asking the same question. What did the humans build? Rumors flooded the networks. Some said it was a hidden superweapon. Others whispered about a human AI controlling entire planets. Some even claimed Earth had found a way to bend gravity itself. The truth didn't matter. Fear did. Back in the council chamber, the speaker looked pale. "We must contain this," Varen said weakly. "If humans possess such power," Jaylee interrupted, "then the galaxy will never threaten them again." No one spoke after that. Every species that had mocked humanity now watched the Sol system with growing dread. The fleet that fired first was gone. The survivors were fleeing, and in the shadow of Jupiter, a single dreadnought waited silent and still, like a predator beneath calm water. Captain Ilara Voss turned from the viewport and gave her final order for the day. "Power down main weapon, keep targeting systems hot. If they send another fleet, we'll show them the next lesson." Her officer nodded. "And what lesson is that, ma'am?" Ilara looked out at the stars. "That silence doesn't mean fear. Sometimes it means a storm is coming." Far across the galaxy, alien leaders argued, blamed each other, and hid their fleets. But it was already too late. Humanity was awake now, and the stars themselves were starting to tremble. The galaxy had gone silent. The alien fleet that once marched towards Sol was now scattered, half destroyed, half running. But silence didn't mean peace. It meant something worse, fear. In every alien world, leaders argued over what to do next. Some wanted to strike back with everything they had. Others begged the council to stop before it was too late. But pride is a dangerous thing. And the galaxy's pride refused to admit defeat. In the Outer Rim, a coalition of alien empires gathered their largest fleets. Hundreds of ships from different species, each one determined to prove that humanity's first victory was luck, not strength. Their war council met in orbit around a gas giant. General Zorak, still alive after barely escaping the destruction of his flagship, slammed his claws against the table. "They caught us off guard once," he growled. "But they can't face an entire galactic armada. We'll crush Earth, burn their system, and end their story forever." A younger officer hesitated. "Sir, our scans show strange interference in human space." "We can't get full readings," Zorak snorted. "Their tricks won't save them this time. We move at dawn cycle. No mercy." Back in the Sol system, humanity was not idle. Every shipyard across Mars and the Moon was alive with activity. Old vessels once used for transport were rebuilt into warships. Mining stations became supply depots. Civilian freighters were armed with missile pods. Earth's population watched from below, not in panic, but in determination. For the first time in centuries, humanity was united. The message was simple. We survive, or we burn with our world. Inside the command deck of Project Starhammer, Captain Alara Voss stood before a wall of glowing tactical data. She could see everything: the approaching alien fleets, the energy patterns of their weapons, the points where their formation was weakest. Her second officer spoke quietly. "They're coming, Captain. Multiple signatures, hundreds of ships. They're charging their main drives." Alara's voice was calm. "Let them come. Prepare rail batteries 1 through 7. Load magnetic shells." "Confirmed," replied the weapons chief. "Charging sequence in progress." The ship hummed, its massive hull vibrating with the buildup of impossible power. On Earth, Admiral Ryland stood before the Global Command Council. Around him, holograms of the Moon, Mars, and various defense stations glowed like constellations. "The alien coalition has launched a full-scale assault," Ryland said flatly. "They're coming with everything they have. They think they can break us." The council members exchanged uneasy glances. One of them asked, "Can we win?" Ryland looked directly at her. "Winning isn't the point anymore. Surviving is." He turned to his officers. "Activate planetary shields. Bring the orbital cannons online, and patch me through to Starhammer." A moment later, Alara's face appeared on the command screen. Ryland spoke with a grim smile. "Captain, they're coming for us again." The galaxy had seen wars before, but none like this. Every major network, every alien newsfeed, every communication channel replayed the same footage. A single human dreadnought standing alone against hundreds of alien warships. And winning. No one wanted to believe it. Some called it an illusion. Others called it propaganda. But then the wreckage drifted into neutral space. Thousands of fragments, each carrying the burned insignias of the defeated coalition. There was no denying it anymore. Humanity wasn't supposed to win. But they had, and that changed everything. In the Galactic Council Hall, chaos reigned. Ambassadors shouted across the floor. "The humans have violated interstellar law," one cried. "They used forbidden kinetic weapons," another screamed. "They've destabilized 3 sectors already." The speaker, Veyron, slammed his staff against the ground. Silence. The noise stopped instantly. He looked around the chamber, his voice trembling with both fear and fury. "You think this is about weapons? This is about control! Humanity has no seat on this council, no representation, and yet they've just destroyed a fleet that took 5 empires to build." A murmur spread through the crowd. Veyron continued, his tone dark. "If they can do this once, they can do it again. And if they can do it again, no one is safe." Far away on the edge of the solar system, humanity was already preparing for the next step. Inside Project Starhammer's command chamber, Captain Alara Voss and her crew studied new incoming data streams. Dozens of alien fleets were repositioning near border systems. Some were regrouping, others retreating, but Alara wasn't looking at them. She was looking at something else, a faint pattern of hidden transmissions buried deep inside council space. Her eyes narrowed. "They're calling for reinforcements," she said. "Mass production orders, long-range weapon tests. They're preparing for a larger war." Her tactical officer nodded. "If they're building up fleets, they'll strike again soon." Alara turned to him, voice cold and precise. "Then we strike first." On Mars, Admiral Ryland reviewed Earth's Black Project files. Each one was marked classified, beyond alpha clearance. He opened one file, Project Spectre. Unlike Starhammer, which was designed to be a visible show of strength, Spectre was something else entirely. It was invisible, untraceable, a ghost fleet built in secret. No.
On outside, the inner circle knew it existed. Ryland
Stared at the holographic. Schematics and ships coated in adaptive stealth materials. Hulls that absorbed energy instead of reflecting it. Engines that emitted no detectable radiation. They weren't made for defense. They were made for disappearance. "Spectre Fleet Status Report," Ryland ordered. A hologram flickered to life. Commander Juno Lasker, leader of the Spectre Division. Her voice was calm and clipped. "All 6 vessels operational. We've tested deep space cloaking. No alien sensors have detected us so far." Ryland nodded. "Your first target is confirmed. Transmission coming through now." Juno watched the data stream load, a star map highlighting a distant alien world. The name glowed red, Zoric Prime, homeworld of the general who led the failed invasion of Earth. She smiled faintly. Poetic. 2 weeks later, deep in council space, alien civilians were celebrating the new defense pact. Billboards flashed slogans, peace through unity, strength through the council. But far above their skies, something unseen moved. 6 human stealth ships entered the system, silent as shadows. No lights, no transmissions, no detectable energy signatures. Spectre 1 positioned itself over the main orbital defense station. Inside, Commander Lasker gave the quiet order: deploy the drones. Tiny metallic spheres separated from the ship, floating down toward the planet's orbit. They latched onto satellites, command nodes, defense relays, then went dark. Seconds later, the entire planetary network froze. On the surface of Zoric Prime, alarms blared. Energy grids flickered. Military bases lost all contact with their orbital fleet. And then, for one brief moment, the night sky lit up. Spectre fleet unleashed their payload, precision strikes that never missed. Orbital factories exploded one by one, their debris raining down like falling stars. The attack lasted only 6 minutes. By the time alien interceptors launched, the human ships were already gone, vanished into the void. No transmissions, no traces, only silence. In the aftermath, panic spread through the Council worlds. Reports flooded in. Our fleet command vanished. Unknown attackers destroyed our orbital systems. No survivors. No signatures. The aliens didn't know what to call it, so they named it the Ghost War. And for the first time in galactic history, the predators of the stars looked over their shoulders, afraid of the dark. Meanwhile, deep beneath the surface of Earth, in the hidden complex known as the Bastion, humanity's true leaders met in secret. Holographic projections showed the map of the Milky Way, red zones expanding outward from Earth's position. Each red dot represented a successful Spectre operation. 8 worlds neutralized, reported one officer. Council response time increasing. Their coordination is collapsing, a strategist spoke quietly. If we keep this up, the Council will fracture. They'll turn on each other before they ever reach Sol again. Admiral Ryland listened in silence, then said, "Good. Let them destroy themselves."
Humanity's survival depends on one thing: control of fear. He paused.
And right now they're terrified. Back in orbit around Mars, Captain Alara Voss watched the reports come in. Every image, every feed showed destruction in systems far from Earth. But her expression wasn't one of victory. She whispered, "They'll retaliate. They always do." Her second officer looked uneasy. "You think they'll go after our colonies?" "They'll go after everything," she said. "And when they do, we'll be ready." At that same moment, far across the galaxy, the Council met again in emergency session. The air was thick with fear and desperation. Baron slammed his hands on the table. "We are under attack. Every defense system we have has failed. We need unity." But the room erupted into shouting. One ambassador accused another of leaking coordinates. Others blamed rival species for collaborating with the humans. In 1 hour, the Great Galactic Council began to fracture. Old alliances shattered. Empires turned inward. No one trusted anyone. And all the while, invisible ships moved between the stars, silently erasing threats before they could even form. Weeks later, deep in the void, Commander Lasker received a priority signal. She played it on her console. The voice of Admiral Ryland echoed through her cabin. "Spectre Fleet, your mission is complete. Return to Sol. Operation Unseen Hand is now in full effect." Lasker frowned. "Full effect?" The Admiral's voice grew darker. "It's time to make them see what we've been hiding. Prepare for demonstration." Back on Earth, vast underground hangars opened for the first time in decades. The air trembled as titanic engines roared to life. Inside, engineers watched as enormous ships, far larger than even Starhammer, rose slowly from the dust. Each vessel carried markings that hadn't been spoken aloud since the old wars. Project Judgment. The ships weren't designed to fight fleets. They were designed to destroy worlds. As one of the newly awakened giants powered up, a single line of code appeared across its screen. Operation Starhammer, Phase 4. The message: humanity was done hiding. For years, they had been underestimated, mocked, ignored. Now their message would echo across the galaxy. You feared our silence. Now fear our voice. The void around Earth trembled. What began as a faint hum soon became a storm of energy. Across the solar system, hidden stations came alive, one by one like stars being born. Sensors on alien worlds detected massive power spikes inside Sol, energy levels off the charts. The Galactic Council panicked. Their long-range scanners struggled to process what they were seeing. Impossible, one technician whispered. No species could generate that much power in one system. But deep beneath Earth's crust, something ancient was waking. Project Judgment, humanity's final deterrent. A weapon never meant to be used, only to remind the galaxy that humans would never kneel again. In orbit above Mars, Captain Ilara Voss stood inside the command deck of the dreadnought Starhammer Prime. Through the panoramic glass, she could see the first of the Judgment-class ships rising from Earth's shadow. Each one was larger than any ship ever built, kilometers long, shaped like black spears. Their hulls shimmered with adaptive plating that rippled like liquid metal. Names glowed faintly across their sides: Omen, Retribution, Genesis, Valiant, and Sol's Wrath. They weren't just ships. They were warnings. Ilara watched as their engines ignited, burning brighter than stars. A voice crackled over her comms. "Captain, Earth Command requests all fleets to form defensive perimeter. Judgment ships are aligning for synchronization." She nodded silently. Understood. Back on Earth, Admiral Ryland stood inside the control chamber of the Bastion. The room shook as energy from the planetary core was redirected to power the newly awakened fleet. Technicians shouted over each other as systems stabilized. "Primary fusion conduits online. Judgment weapons reaching 82% capacity. Neural link synchronization confirmed with command AI." Ryland raised his hand for silence. He looked at the massive holographic display, each Judgment ship marked as a bright golden icon. He spoke quietly, almost like a prayer. "For every outpost they burned, for every human life they erased, the stars themselves will remember what they've done." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, chaos consumed the Council. Worlds were mobilizing, fleets were retreating, and paranoia was spreading faster.